Hello, well, I'm talking directly to you, the people who are watching the VOD. How's it going? Thanks for tuning in. You didn't have to, but I appreciate that you did anyway. And now to the audience that's actually in front of me. Hello and welcome to, I thought it fell off again. Welcome to the live event of the premiere of Mousetrap, a project that I dragged half of you into, and I appreciate you helping me film it. So this was a live action pilot series that I made with a bunch of friends with help from BCAT, and I greatly appreciate everybody at BCAT helping me out with this project. Abracadabra, my good sir. That is the magic word that allows me to do this. I know, it's crazy. So you might be wondering, how did you come up with such an idea? Well, I'll tell you. So in 2020, me and a little person known as James Hurley, you may have heard of him, set out to create a seriously toned sci-fi pilot adventure series thing called Victoria Journey Through the Stars. And it certainly did happen, but we had to wait a year to film it because the craziest thing happened in March. You'll never believe what it was. So after that happened, I was like, you know what? That was cool and all. That was chill and whatever. But, you know, I kind of want to do my own pilot, one that's not nearly as serious and one that makes not nearly as much sense as that one did. And so I decided to make a show that shared a name with over 1 million different things. Abracadabra. The magic is delayed. There it is. So, after about 3 years of being in college and being an animation major and a digital media minor for about two and a half of those, I decided that I wanted to dedicate my time to making some projects that would kind of push my creative ability and showcase where I was skill level at the time. And so I ended up creating 2 different projects. I wanted to create an animated one, and I wanted to make good on that live action project that I set out to produce after Victoria was filmed. So the first one that got made, as you all know or may not know, was The Multi-Circus, which was essentially a story about an alternate reality version of me and a cat jumping between different dimensions. And it was great, and it was a half an hour, and it far exceeded my expectations after I made it, and I was very happy with it. It is basically a love letter to all of the different stuff that I grew up with on YouTube, where it was like animatics, live action, animation, and like pixel art and video games and all that stuff. And it was funny, at least I think it was, and so It came off with great success, I would say, comparatively to some of the other projects I did, so I was very happy with it. This series also ended up kickstarting the entirety of the Fire Prism Anthology series, which is like my lifeblood as a person and a creative entity, so that was good to get that started and finally get that off my chest and out of my head and onto the page. And that project was actually the first time that we saw Mousetrap. And the section filmed in Multi-Circus took place several months before Mousetrap, before the script took a complete 180. But I still had to mush that scene in there, so there it is. And here it will be in a few minutes. Abracadabra. I gotta check my wand. So, as well, over the summer of 2022, I interned for Burlington Cable Access Television, or BCAT, for all of you who don't want to think about what that was. As a part of that internship, Jen Dodge, who is the executive director here, agreed to allow me to shoot Mousetrap after the internship was over in August. A very sincere thank you to Jen for allowing me to do that. This project came out really well, I think. And it would not have been possible if she helped to fuel and fund, in quotes. She basically gave me the equipment and said, go for it, this project. And I greatly appreciate Jen for letting me do that. So thank you very much. This will air on YouTube and BCAT. And I also want to thank James for giving me these wonderful photos to display here. Abracadabra. Sick. So the tone of this story has changed maybe 10,000 times. So the basic of the story never really changed that much. It was always about game developers. It always starred Chris Feller. It always starred Warner and Dynamo. And they always ended up becoming part-time criminals for the mayor at the very end of it. Actually, that is not entirely true. They did not work for the mayor in every iteration, but they did always become criminals. As I stated, the pilot went through several tone shifts before landing on the weird, jaunty comedy that I basically ended it on. Chris and Warren were originally supposed to help cover up a murder that they witnessed right in front of them. But I kind of dropped my shock value wannabe attitude and quickly rewrote the script to something a little bit more lighthearted and a lot more up my alley. And to be completely honest with you, I'm really glad that I did, because I think that the pilot has turned out way better because of that. And now no one has to witness murder. So that is always a plus. And I'm abracadabra. So, as pretty much everybody has loved to point out about this project, there is a very glaring issue about it. The name. I know, it's terrible for search engine optimization, which if you don't know what that means, when you type that name into Google, if your thing isn't the first thing that comes up, guess what? It's time to look for something else to name your project. I didn't care. That's why it's called Mousetrap. There's the Hasbro game. Snoop Dogg made a movie with that name. And apparently, I also just learned that there is an older movie that is literally the same premise, called Mousetrap. I did not know that, and research is extremely important, but I did not care, so the name remained, because it fits and shut up. Abracadabra. So now it's time to talk about the people who asked to be in this project. So you have me and Michael as the main characters, Chris and Warren. We have Juliana McGrain, who is a volunteer at BCAT, who played Warren's sister, Missy. We had Dan, my brother, play Dave. No, he does not have a last name, so stop asking. We had James play the mayor. Yes, that's his name. And we had Chris play news reporter, and yes, that is also his name. Dan and I were behind post-production, and I was behind the scoring and soundtrack behind the project. Some fun facts about this is that the intro animation was adjusted 11 different times, because every single time I made it, and every single time I looked back on it, I hated it, so I changed it 11 times. I ultimately landed on the version that you will see in this production. I like it. I still have a few problems with it, but I had to put my perfectionism away and just release the dang thing. So here we are. The second fun fact that I have for you is that there was an entire character I had to cut from the script because we had a cast dropout. I do not blame this person because I know this person had pressing issues to deal with, and it is perfectly fine, and I have forgiven them, but I'm still sad. So rest in peace, Minerva, who will probably not show up until either episode 2 or ever, but we'll see. Abracadabra. That one was faster. So what comes after this? Well, that's a fantastic question. I've already confirmed 3 additional projects for you, so why do you keep asking? I have my first not my first, because I guess the Multi-Circus was technically one of my first animated projects, but I have the next animated project coming up next year that I'm working on in college right now called Gene and Clark. After that, we have a spin-off story about the Let's Play series that me, Michael, and Daniel have. It stars our little caricatures, and we go on a wild adventure in a world that makes no sense, and it's amazing. And it's everything you've come to expect from me until this point. And then after that, we have the Multiverse, which is the first time that that name has been revealed to the public. So congratulations if you're watching this. You are the first people to, yeah, I know, it's crazy. You're the first people to see the name for that project. It is very self-explanatory. Imagine the Multi-Circus, but it's just me. Yep. That's what it is. It'll make more sense when it actually comes out. Mousetrap was kind of a test project for me. I wasn't expecting it to have a lot of longevity, if I'm being completely honest. I loved filming it. I loved all the people that I got to film it with, and I appreciate every single person that helped contribute to the project to help make it come true. But there is no episode 2 planned. I have a rough, if I ever continued it, I have a rough plan for like a second episode, one that includes Minerva this time. But nothing has been really planned or greenlit, but it isn't out of the cards. I will also say that even if a second episode of Mousetrap does not get made, this is not the last time we will see Chris and Warren. So if you do enjoy these characters, don't worry, they will be coming back, just not in the way that you expect. Abracadabra. Thank you for watching this, whatever that was, and I hope you enjoy the actual show.